Welcome to Iraqi Dinar Update, your go-to source for the latest news, expert insights, and real-time developments on Iraq's currency, economy, and financial reforms. Whether you're a long-time investor or just curious about the dinar, you're in the right place. The Iraqi dinar has long been a focal point of international currency speculation and monetary reform discussions, especially among those who closely follow developments in Iraq's economic landscape. Over the years, the dinar has seen limited visibility on global financial platforms like Forex and Bloomberg, and this has only intensified interest in any signs of change. When speculation arises that the dinar is now appearing live and publicly listed on such platforms, particularly when this hasn't happened in over 2 decades, it becomes more than just a technical update. It could signal a strategic shift in Iraq's path toward full international financial integration, potentially in preparation for what some believe to be a forthcoming revaluation, RV, reinstatement, RI, or real effective exchange rate, RER, adjustment. So, is the Iraqi dinar actually listed live on Forex and Bloomberg today? And if so, what does that mean? First, let's understand what it means for a currency to be listed or actively traded on these platforms. Forex, the foreign exchange market, and Bloomberg, a global financial data service, are primary tools used by investors, traders, financial institutions, and central banks to access real-time information about global currencies. When a currency is actively tracked and updated on these systems, it's usually a sign that the currency is available for international observation and possibly trading. The Iraqi dinar has historically been excluded from most mainstream currency trading platforms for several reasons: lack of convertibility, limited international recognition, and ongoing economic or political instability. However, the reappearance, or perhaps the first-time public display in over 22 years, of the Iraqi dinar in a real-time, system-integrated form could carry weighty implications. Even if the listed rate remains the same, 1310 dinars per US dollar, the act of going live indicates Iraq is stepping into a new phase of transparency, monetary readiness, and alignment with international financial norms. This does not necessarily mean that the exchange rate has changed or will imminently, but it does suggest that technical and institutional mechanisms are being updated or tested in anticipation of more substantial reforms. Mark Z and others who monitor dinar developments have noted an uptick in strange or crazy rate movements being seen, allegedly overnight. These are typically taken as signs of back-end testing or systems calibrations that precede an official rate change. While these rates may not yet be publicly acknowledged or confirmed by the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, their appearance in trading systems, even if brief or inconsistent, can create ripples of speculation and anticipation. Could these be isolated glitches or internal placeholders? Possibly. But when such anomalies occur alongside other signs, like the dinar being visible on Forex platforms and financial terminals like Bloomberg, they begin to form a pattern that may hint at something deeper underway. It is also significant to note that Iraq's government and the CBI have made public statements about transitioning to a more open, market-based exchange rate system. They've also expressed interest in achieving Article 8 compliance with the IMF, a key designation that signifies a country is allowing currency convertibility and has removed restrictions on payments and transfers for current international transactions. One of the prerequisites for this is precisely the kind of transparency and data availability that would require real-time dinar rates to be listed on platforms like Bloomberg and Forex. So, what we may be seeing here is the prelude to such a compliance upgrade, quietly ushered in through back-end data synchronization and early live listings. Critics of dinar speculation will argue that simply seeing a rate like 1310 on Bloomberg does not signal a revaluation, and they would be right on the surface. But long-term watchers know that such moves must be interpreted not just for what they are, but for what they mean within a broader sequence of events. When combined with Iraq's digital reforms, the prohibition of dollar use domestically, the implementation of biometric payment systems, the modernization of state-owned banks, and the rollout of a cashless economy, all of which are real and documented developments, it becomes harder to ignore the possibility that Iraq is aligning itself for a major shift in its currency framework. For many investors, currency watchers, and policymakers, the reappearance of the dinar in real-time trading feeds, even at the existing program rate, is an unmistakable breadcrumb. It does not confirm an imminent RV or RI, but it does suggest that Iraq is preparing for a moment where the dinar must be not only visible but accessible, measurable, and responsive to the global market. For a currency to be taken seriously, it has to be seen. And now, if indeed it is being seen consistently on Forex and Bloomberg platforms, that visibility changes the game. The mention of a real effective exchange rate, REER, is also a notable component of this discussion. The REER is a weighted average of a country's currency relative to a basket of other major currencies, adjusted for inflation and trade balances. If Iraq were to implement a new REER-based exchange rate, it would likely mean a significant shift away from the artificially pegged or managed rate of 1310, which has long been criticized as outdated and disconnected from Iraq's true economic potential. A move to REER would suggest a fairer, more market-driven reflection of the dinar's value, based on trade competitiveness and macroeconomic fundamentals. That kind of reform cannot happen in a vacuum. It requires preconditions like listing the currency on global systems, updating trading platforms, and informing international markets. In summary, even though the rate remains at 1310, the live appearance of the dinar on Bloomberg and Forex signals that Iraq may have passed a critical threshold. It may be a preemptive technical step, a compliance milestone, or a soft rollout of upcoming changes. It could very well be a test, both of system readiness and public reaction. But one thing is certain, currencies do not simply appear live on Bloomberg by accident. If the dinar is truly back after 22 years of obscurity, then regardless of the number on the screen, the move is profound. It may not be the revaluation yet, but it's the road that leads directly to it. Thanks for tuning in to Iraqi Dinar Update. If you found this content helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a beat on Iraq's evolving financial landscape. Stay informed and stay ready.